doing well. I'm your host Miriam Mongoi and welcome to The Real Base Show, a news analysis and interpretation program that focuses on real issues that impact our lives. We'll inform you on business, politics, and art. But before we begin, let's begin with the news headlines. Crown Paint targets to launch low-cost paints. Kenyans to soon send money across all networks. The ban on alcohol sale to women in Sri Lanka reinstated. Thank you for tuning in, and on today's episode, we're going to focus on the rental equipment business. And our reporter John Masinde will give us a comprehensive report.
The rental equipment business, technically known as operating lease, is a short-term agreement that allows the use of an asset but does not convey ownership of the same asset. But do people really understand the meaning of rental equipment business and how it works? Startup costs can be very high depending on the type of product and equipment that you purchase for rent. However, you can minimize cost by purchasing this item in a good condition second-hand.
I think I've had a great experience with leasing. It's cheap. It provides you the content immediately that maybe you don't want to you don't have the cash, but you want to experience what is being offered right there and then. It's a wonderful opportunity.
Even in renting, it saves money. It's cheaper because you'll only have to use that product at the time you need it.
Having to deal with rental houses has quite been a task for me. First and foremost, I didn't have the capital, so I had to opt for loans. And I opted for youth fund loans, and I received some. I bought land, and I also went ahead and built the houses. I only have one floor, and my houses have really been profitable to me personally.
Maybe the equipment may be broken down at the process of using it, and that may lead you to incur costs because the one who owns the product wants you to repair, or maybe he doesn't want to incur the cost of maintenance. So it makes it to be a quite difficult business idea.
I also spoke to Mr. Joshua Okeyo, a business lecturer at Daystar University, to get more insight on the rental business.
There are two types of leasing. There's a long-term lease, which goes beyond 5 years and above, and there's a short-term lease. So the long-term lease is called a finance lease. The short-term is called the operating lease. So rental is more or less like operating lease, whereby the asset belongs to the owner, he maintains it, he repairs it, he takes care of the risks and rewards of the asset. That belongs to the owner, like the owner of a house, you're a landlord and you're a tenant. But in a long-term lease, it's like you own the asset, only that you haven't paid in full. So your periodic rental charges, which you pay to the owner of the asset, it's like you're buying it by installment. So much so that by the end of the asset's life, the owner doesn't have use for it. It will be too old and you just need to get another one.
The rental equipment business is advantageous to the owner, for there is constant cash flow. But the downside of it is the high risk incurred in terms of damages and losses. I spoke to Dr. Laban Chesang to know what entrepreneurs look for when beginning a rental equipment business.
You can consider how much you have. Then can you be able to predict? You do now your market survey so that you don't just venture into an investment. Then you realize that 3 months down the line, this business is no longer marketable. So you got to do your own other market analysis to look at the future demand for this product so that you continue you to remain in business. Then of course something as an entrepreneur is to look it's always good to take into account eventualities. What is likely to happen in case things don't work out? Do I stick with only one product or can I diversify depending on how much I do?
Starting a business is one thing, maintaining is another. And as Dr. Chesang has said, for you to be successful in the rental equipment business, you must study your market, insure your assets, and take into consideration the risks involved in starting your own business. I am reporting for The Real Base Show. My name is John Masinde.
Thanks to our reporter for the comprehensive report about the rental equipment business. And right now, I've been joined by Kislev, a very well-renowned DJ, also a bee farmer. He's also a student here at Daystar University, and he also rents equipments. Thank you, Kisila, for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me on your show.
So we want to know, what kind of equipment do you rent out?
Like in a normal situation, I can hire out anything, but for now I have lights, sound, and decks.
Why the rental business?
I think it's better because it's much easier when you don't have stock that is sleeping. Stock that is sleeping basically means you don't have dead stock. So anytime you have equipment that is being hired, it means it's also generating income, even if you're not using it for certain work. So definitely comparing to a shop, I mean a shop you can close today, tomorrow you will not sell anything. You will not sell anything. But for me, if I hire decks today, I don't need a base, I don't need a station, and besides, there's always that one person who will always want it.
How did you start out? Because for this rental equipment business, you need to acquire these goods. How did you start out?
Well, I thank my dad because my dad was my main sponsor. So he gave me some equipment, bought for me some for my own use, but for me, I converted that now to a business.
So where is your shop located, or how do you sell?
It's not a shop, it's just from my house.
And if you have a shop, it brings more credibility.
Not really. In the business that I am in, you don't really need a shop. If you look, most sound technicians, most sound companies do not need.
But that's to say, even if I was told to go buy an equipment, and then I'm told to go to a certain shop and buy that equipment, I'd want to go to a shop where I'm saying it's legit, so that I know whatever goods I'm getting or whatever equipment I'm getting, it's something that is credible. So, are there any concerns that your customers have raised concerning that?
Nah, not really. Because it's not buying, it's renting. So they rent out what they see. They don't rent out what they come into contact with for the first time. You don't need a shop for renting. Sometimes, especially with sound, you don't really need a shop. You just need some place where they can access easily. And besides the point, it's not a buy, you're renting. You only rent something that you see.
How do you service your equipment?
I do that every 3 months. But sometimes also depending on the kind of work, like for example, if I hire decks to go for a 24-hour gig, I'll have to make sure that I've serviced it properly, because you never know the extent at which people are using it. But normally 3 months is good.
But sometimes maybe you rent out, there's an event at the amphitheater, and you rented out the lights, and at some point the lights were bringing some trouble. So when such a thing occurs, what do you do? And it's needed urgently by the customer.
In that case, what I always do is, before I hire out lights, I always like seeing the place and knowing how exactly I can maneuver. When I encounter such a problem, I always have a backup. My backup is I have someone who understands them. It's like sort of, let's say, an engineer. So someone who understands them, knows what could be the problem, and immediately troubleshoots. Worst case scenario, I'd have to outsource.
What are some of do you sign any agreement when you're giving someone your equipment?
That is how it's supposed to be. But of course, there are people who are my friends who hire.
But your friends can run with your equipment.
Yeah, but it's someone I know, someone I've not just worked with for the first time. So it's not really a problem. But if you are a new customer, be sure you do a lot of paperwork.
So what are the challenges do you face?
Mainly, let's say like 2 challenges. Number 1, payment. Like for example, I have a client who's never, 3 months down the line, I'm still waiting for a check. Has not been signed, or the finance officer has not been there. Back and forth, back and forth. So I really, in this business per se, we don't like people who operate with checks. And if they operate with checks, then let it be ready. Upon delivery, the check is also delivered. Because what happens is they delay and take time. They have to process the money first, then do the check. So that creates a lot of delay. Because if you are to service the equipment, you see now you are ready. They process the check. Immediately, I deliver, they hand me the check. So that is also something I've learned in the process. Second thing is, of course, most clients do not value equipment per se. So once they're done with it, it's done. They don't take care of them. They don't protect them.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I hope your business continues
Yes,
thriving.
and you can also hire my lights next time.
Okay.
I also have cameras.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Up next is the Citizen Report with our citizen journalist. So stay tuned.
Sema Njoki.
Poa sana mama. Aki mimi sioni nikikuja.
Mbona?
Sitaki hizo maswali za Auntie Mary. Oh, utolewa lini? Siendelee kulea football team yake achana na maisha watu wengine.
Njoki acha nikupigie.
Mam, tunaweza ongea, niko na Airtel tubonge. Alafu nentishiro napika. Mashakura, I can't. Kazi Magina yeye, yoshina na boyfriends tofauti uko na hairstyles funny. Kwa change nayo?
Njoki acha nikupigie.
Uncle John drama.
Nani anasema mimi iko drama?
Mam.
Njoki uko kwa loudspeaker.
Tumia Airtel Tubonge ku make Airtel to Airtel calls bila charges like other networks for 2 bob a minute.
Si uniambie kuhusu hiyo Airtel Tubonge unashinda ukitaja.
My name is Michelle Maina and I'm currently at Daystar University. So I'm going to ask a few individuals their opinion on, okay, for today's question, I'm going to ask people if they prefer buying a product or an equipment, or renting a product or an equipment. So for my first interviewee, I'd like to show you guys what he had to say.
I'll rather buy a product than rent it, because if I buy it, then when I'm done with it, I'll prefer to rent it out again and get the profit. Yeah, I think that's better.
So that's one of the interviewees. I'd like to ask another interviewee the same question and hear the opinion about it.
So I believe that it is much better to buy a product than renting it, because when you rent it, it's really not yours. You can't really maximize its usage, and then you always have to make sure it's in good condition to return to the owner. But when you buy a product, it's yours. It's yours, and yes, you can even now become the one who is renting it and earn from it.
So those were some of the opinions that I got from the various people I interviewed. Thank you for tuning in. I was your citizen journalist, Michelle Maina.
Thank you for staying to the show. I hope you learned a lot about the rental equipment business. For more information, follow us on our social media pages on the screen. And I'm going to leave you with a quote from Thomas Watson. To be successful, you have to have your heart in your business and your business in your heart. I was your host, Miriam Mongoi. See you next time, same place, same time.